Hey, it's Jeff 650 Cycle. If you're looking for a motorcycle video, this ain't it. I apologize, but I have something else going on right now, and I do have one lined up for a couple weeks from now. Mid-July, I have kind of a motorcycling thing going on, so don't give up on the motorcycle stuff with me. I'm still motorcycling, just not right now. This is my Honda Element camper, and we are going to be doing our first adventure with the camper. Going and tent camping. Well, we're not tent camping, we're camping in the Element. Starting tomorrow. We're taking off in the morning, and we will be gone. We're leaving on a Saturday. We will be back the next Friday. Let me kind of give you an overview of our itinerary, what we're doing, and then kind of give you an idea of what this video is going to be about. We live in mid-Michigan, and we're going to Mount Rushmore. So, and we're not crossing Lake Michigan. You can go around Lake Michigan to the south, to the north, and you can cross it in the middle on the USS Badger, the US Badger, whatever it is. But we're going up through the UP, and our first stay, we're going to try to make it to actually, we have to make it to Green Bay. I have reservations every single night. So our first night is Green Bay, which is around 500 miles. So first night is all tomorrow, 500 miles, and we'll be in Green Bay tomorrow night. Sunday, we'll be traveling from Green Bay to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we were passing some place that my buddy told me about. It's called the Spam Museum, and I have no interest in it, but he said it was fun and interesting, so it's on the way. It's not out of the way at all, so we're gonna stop at the Spam Museum and see what that's all about. It's in Minnesota somewhere, so we're gonna check it out. And then we're gonna camp at Sioux Falls, South Dakota. From Sioux Falls, we're going to then, this would be Monday morning, we're gonna leave, and the goal is to get to the Mount Rushmore campground that we're staying at. And along the way is Waldrug, and it's a famous tourist location. So it's on the way, so we might as well stop and see it. That is the plan, and then we will be in Mount Rushmore, near Mount Rushmore, on Monday evening. Tuesday is all day local stuff. We're going to do Mount Rushmore. We're going to do the Crazy Horse Monument that they're working on, and whatever else we can find out there. That's the two things I've set up for us to do. The campground there has a really nice pool and a hot tub, so that may be on the agenda. We'll see once we're out there. Weather-wise, if it's going to work out for us. Staying there Monday and Tuesday night, and then Tuesday we're gonna start heading, Wednesday morning we'll start heading back. Wednesday we're headed out, and we're gonna be close to Rochester. I think it's Rochester, Minnesota, south of Minneapolis kind of thing. There's a campground I found. It's like 530 miles from where we're staying at Mount Rushmore. Kind of a halfway point to where we're headed from there. I don't have anything planned on the way back. I didn't want to stay in the same places on the way back. It just kind of worked that way. I don't really have any touristy things that I want to see. It's just us traveling, and we'll stop and see something when we see it. From Thursday, we will leave from where we're staying. I can't remember the name of the town right now, but it's close to, and I believe it's Rochester, Minnesota. It's another 530 miles from there to our family cabin. I was looking at staying at Manistee, Michigan, and I was like, you know what? The cabin's only 40 minutes from there, maybe half hour. And I was like, why not just stay there? So we did that last year on our bike trip, and it was cold and rainy. We stopped in Manistee, and we got these amazing pasties. If you don't know what pasties are, you have to visit the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to fully experience a pasty. It's this rolled up in, I'll show it to you when we get some. Anyways, the local grocery store had some amazing ones we picked up last year, and it was so stinking cold, and it started raining in Manistee, so we had probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes of riding in the cold and rain before we got to the cabin. And once we got to the cabin, I started a fire. We wrapped the pasties in tinfoil, threw them on the stove, and just let the fire warm them up, and it was so amazing. And I told my wife, and she's like, yes, let's do that again. Hopefully it's not cold and rainy, but if it is, we got the element. So we're not on a bike this year, so it won't be that bad. From the cabin, it's 250 miles, 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours. Ride home, we'll do that Friday, and then we'll be home. Our trip will be done. Here's what I'm planning on doing for this video. I'm just going to take you guys along and film whatever we stop, whatever we're doing. I know there's a lighthouse in Manistee we like to stop at. If the weather's decent, we're going to stop at those kind of places, and I'll just bring the camera up, and any sites that we see. Probably not going to try to take you through the Spam Museum, because I think you should experience that on your own without me taking you along. They have a gift shop, so who knows what we're going to end up. Maybe we're going to be eating Spam that night. So we're both pretty excited about this trip. This is vacation for us, and to be honest, we both need it right now. So we're excited for that, and I'll also show you the element in camping, full camping regalia, opened up, set up for camping, all of that. One thing I didn't think about, I was booking sites, and I booked all tent sites, and I don't know if they're going to allow me to sleep in this, but I do have a tent. So worst case, I set the tent up, I sleep in this anyways, and we kind of go around their rules that way. If that's the case, I don't even know. So at this point, I'm going to go get a good night's sleep, because we're leaving bright and early tomorrow morning. We got to make it to Green Bay. All right, we made it to the Mackinac Bridge. It's 2.5 hours from our house, so here we are crossing it. This is our first, it's been raining, so we didn't stop at the park that we usually stop at. We're going to stop in St. Ignace, get some fuel, and get something to eat. So the first scenic thing on our trip, the Mackinac Bridge. Made it to Green Bay for probably a couple hours this afternoon. Across the bridge, it was not very nice. Windy, rainy, cold. It was 66 degrees in Manistee, and we get here to Green Bay, and it's 96 degrees. I was concerned with the 66 degrees, but I'm not so sure that wouldn't have been a bonus, because it's too hot. So what we've decided for tonight, we were going to camp in the element. Obviously, we're going to sleep in there, but there is like zero airflow. There's a little bit of a breeze, but as you can see, I got the little Ryobi working overtime right now, and it's just hot. We just figured it's going to be too hot in there, so we set up the tent, and figured we'd get a little more airflow that way and be a little more comfortable. I don't think it's going to be a real comfortable night, so that's what's happened. I'm a little disappointed. Actually, I'm really disappointed that we didn't get to sleep in the element tonight. I was really looking forward to that. Tomorrow night we get to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and it looks like it's going to be like 98 degrees when we get there. And I don't think that place has a pool, so it's just going to be miserable hot. This place at least had a pool we could dip off in, and we did. We went and cooled off, and it was wonderful. Tomorrow night, Sioux Falls, but tomorrow in the morning it's supposed to be like 7 degrees in the morning, so it will cool off overnight. I think it's going to be nice. I don't know if we're going to sleep in the tent or the element tomorrow night, so kind of playing it by ear and playing it by comfort level at this point, what we think is going to work and what we think is going to be the most comfortable. So that's what we're going with. Right now. Sleeping in the tent tonight. We will at some point get to sleep in the element, though. We will talk to you later.
Good morning. I forgot to bring you along yesterday. We stopped at the Spam Museum. Gave you a chance to do that. We had quite a storm roll through last night. We started out in a tent and ended up actually sleeping in the car. So I can kind of give you an overview of our campsite. The element, it's quite messy right now because we're camping. The tent, we thought it was going to blow away, but it didn't. It survived. Everything inside is nice and dry. And we're getting ready to have some breakfast and then roll out for the next day. It actually worked out really good. Slept really well in there last night. I did. So, next stop is Mount Rushmore. We'll hit that today. And roll from there.
Hey, we made it to Mount Rushmore. It's been a pretty good trip so far, so let me show you the campsite tonight. We set the tent up, but we're also sleeping in the element. We ended up sleeping in the element last night. The rain and wind came in, and I thought the tent was going to blow away with us in it. So we moved everything over into the element, and the tent was actually pretty wet this morning inside. Some of our clothes got wet. That's why there's clothes hanging all over. But overall, having a good trip, and that works really well. We both slept better last night than we did 2 nights ago. Give you a quick overview of what's going on in here. Obviously we're camping and stuff's all over the place, but it is what it is. Stopped at Wall Drug today. I don't know if I'd ever stop again, but it was interesting. Had to at least stop once, right? We're gonna check out Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse tomorrow, and maybe some other stuff, see what we have time for. And then the next day we gotta head back. So until then, until we camp again, I'll see you next time. So it is Wednesday, and we are on our way home from Mount Rushmore, and we were planning on stopping right in near this area, and we already came through a thunderstorm that was just as bad as this. So on our way through that, we decided to cancel our reservation at our campground, and we're going to drive another hour, and we're going to actually stay at stay in a motel. So let me show you here real briefly what it looks like out here. Yeah, that ain't good. Visibility is pretty poor, and standing water in the road. And I'm glad I'm not on a bike today, because it would not have been nice. So I'm gonna shut you down here and focus on the road, and get back to you later. All right. Last stop for this trip, for the Element Adventure #1. We made it from Minnesota to here today. It was a long ride. We had a good night last night. Stayed in a hotel, so no Element Adventure last night. But it was a long day, and we are glad to be here. The place we're at is a place that is very near and dear to me. We call it Camp Therapy. It is the camp that has been in our family. My dad built the property. My dad bought the property, and we built all the buildings on it. The cabin back here, the sauna, which is fired up right now, and the outhouse. But it was built as a hunting camp in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and it's just a magical place for anybody who's ever been here. It's not just us, it is family, it is friends. Many people throughout the years have been in this place, have stopped here and have said, this place is amazing, because it truly is. So, and last year on our bike trip coming home, we were pretty cold coming into Manistee, which is about an hour from here. And we stopped and ate, and we were like, you know what, let's just go to the cabin. We were going to stop and eat. We stopped, and we were like, we're going to go to the cabin. Let's just grab something at the grocery store. We got these amazing pasties and just brought them up here. And it was about the same time of year we had to build a fire in the cabin. And at that time, we just took those pasties and threw them on the stove in the cabin and heated them up. So lots of those kind of memories of being up here, family vacations, that type of stuff. So it's good that we're here today. It was a long day of riding, and we have about 4.5 hours to get home. It's 250 miles. So a bit of a journey, but not as bad as the last couple days. The last couple days have been a little rough. So let me show you around a little bit. This is the back of the cabin and our parking lot. This would be our campsite, obviously. We unloaded. We did dinner here tonight. I tried to talk her into doing dinner out, but we were already getting in pretty late. And I'm really glad that we did eat here. She made some amazing pork chops, corn. She made a salad for herself. It was amazing. Just a quick look around camp here, and the sauna, which is fired up and hopefully warming up because it wasn't very warm. I'll take you out here. The fire pit, I didn't make a fire tonight. We're only going to be here tonight. Come out here a little bit. I don't remember the dimensions of the cabin. It's not very big. And myself and my brother-in-law and lots of other people have helped build this cabin when it was going up. And throughout the years, we have done many family vacations and many vacations with many different people. We have some friends that have been coming up here with us for over 20 years. And it's coming into tradition where every fall, I have a couple of buddies that I bring up here, and we do the fall chores, which is picking up leaves, because there's lots of those that come down. We blow the leaves out of this landing area, and do some fall cleanup type stuff. It's not super hard work, but when there's 3 of us here, we get it done. And then guess what? We've got some time to R&R out here. Right now, the mosquitoes are pretty bad, and they're chewing me up pretty good. So I'm going to close this part out. Tomorrow, we will be getting home. I'm going to do a closing for this and talk about how the element did, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that stuff with this trip. The camera's moving right now because I'm chasing mosquitoes off my hand. I'll close this out by doing the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that stuff with the element, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we learned from this. The big thing is we learned a lot of stuff because it's been a long time since the 2 of us have been camping together. And there was a lot to learn, and we did learn a lot of stuff. So planning for our next trip out, we have some things to think about and some things that are going to change. So with that, I will be back tomorrow with all of that information and closing this out and showing you what a mess the element is on the inside right now. If you've ever been camping, you know what it's like at the end of the camping trip when you're just like, just put it in the car, let's leave. That's kind of where we're at right now. So tomorrow we will be home, and I get to set the tent up and air it out because I put it away and it was soaking wet. Anyhow, we'll be home and we'll take care of it then. Well, we're home. The Elements adventure is over. We went about 2,500 miles in 7 days, and everything held up pretty well. I'm going to get some stuff unloaded here, take the car out back, finish unloading, and bring you along with me there. How did everything go? Let's go over the whole experience, some things that I'm going to change before next time, and talk about some different things. The rear rack that was on here worked really well, except that the exhaust is pointing straight at it. And if you look at this cooler right here, by day 2, it melted this corner of this cooler pretty good. So, gonna need to do some type of heat shield right here to eliminate that or reduce that. But other than that, it was very nice being able to put the cooler on there, not having it inside the camper. It worked really well. Like I said, the only thing that I don't like about it is that when you drop the gate, it's still sticking out like this far. So you've got to kind of reach over. That's one thing that needs fixed. That needs fixed before anything else. These bins worked really well. The platform worked really well. The one thing with the platform that's really nice is that you can put stuff in there and leave it in there, and you don't have to take it out just to sleep. The bad thing is that neither one of us could sit up in here. There's just not enough room for us to sit up, and it would have been nice to be able to sit up in here a little bit more than what we were able to. I guess I could have left that open, but the dog likes to jump up in there. This whole interior thing, how did that work for us? It was really pretty easy to slide these forward, take the headrest off, drop them, slide that thing forward. The one thing with the with the ratchet strap supporting the front. It worked just great, except that you had to reach around here to open this door, get this door opened enough in order to get this door open. So it was kind of in the way, and I think I need to find a better way for that. What I'm thinking about doing is, since I have 7 feet 10 inches to here, 7 feet 3 inches to there, if I slide these seats all the way forward and lean them all the way forward, do I have enough room for my sleeping mats where I would be able to sleep? I think that I do, and I may do that as far as not laying these down, just sliding them forward and changing that slide out piece so that it fits behind them with a support underneath it. I think that might be the way I go for the future. Other than sitting up in here, it was a little more cramped than what we're used to, but it worked. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't like we were shoulder to shoulder and right up on the sides. It did work. These mats are actually pretty nice. I didn't mind sleeping on them, and I like the fact that when I fold it like this, it stays like this. It doesn't keep trying to come back on me. I fold it and it stays there. The window shades that I have worked really well. Put those up and didn't let any light in. Like, we'd wake up in the morning and open the door and the sun was shining. It'd be really cool if this had the sunroof in the back and we could have watched the stars, fell asleep under the stars, watched the storms that happened over our heads. This thing was a pain. I kept hitting my head on it. I didn't like it. Don't think it's going to stay or be used again. So there's just some basic things that, you know, you got to try it before you know if it's going to work or not. Other things, that's probably about it for in here. What kind of rating would I give this from a 0 to 10 as far as the camping experience? And I've thought about it, and I think I'd probably give it about a 6.8. It would probably be a little bit higher. I'd probably be over 7 if I made those adjustments and they work good, if I'm not mounting the cooler on the back, if my platform's set up a little bit better in the front to where it just felt like I was doing a lot of setup tear down because we were moving every night. And I think that could be a little bit better. If we could sit up in here, it would be better. And if I was 25 years old again, I know it would be better. But that ain't going to change, so changing the things I can change to make it better, and that would be maybe changing that seat so that I'm not doing quite so much setup. And that it's a little bit easier to reach around and get the doors open. But other than that, it was pretty decent for what it was. I will say this, we were gone 7 days. We left on Saturday, got back on Friday. We spent 5 nights camping, and 1 night in a hotel and 1 night at camp. So of those nights that we camped, we stayed in here, what would that be, 5? Saturday night we stayed in the tent. Sunday night we tried to stay in the tent, ended up in here because it was raining. Monday, Tuesday we stayed in here, and then Thursday we stayed in a hotel because there was tornado warnings, and I'm like, I ain't staying in a tent in a tornado warning. So of those nights, we worked pretty good, and I felt like it was comfortable enough. Like I said, if I was 25, I'm sure it'd be closer to a 10. But changing a couple things with the setup, and a couple things with how we go camping, our mindset, and I think this would probably be a good solid 7.5. We're going to try to get it there. How did the Element in general do? This car now has 222, almost 222,000 miles on it. We rolled 220 on the way out there, and it was like, oh boy, that's a lot of miles, but she's still rolling, she's still doing good. It did fine. I felt like when we got in the mountains, it seemed like it was struggling a little bit with the cruise. It would kick down the transmission, and it didn't seem to want to release back into overdrive like when I thought it would. I messed with it, and then I just let it go, and it worked out. It did just fine. We noticed that in the morning, this particular brake seems to be squeaking. I think it's this one. When you take off, you can hear it hitting as it's going around. So something needs addressed. I know when I rotated the tires before I left that I noticed the rotors probably should have been changed. So I'm going to do rotors and pads on the back. And I'm pretty sure you can see this one has an excessive amount of brake dust on it. So that tells me that that caliper is probably locking up, or it's not fully releasing. The vehicle does tend to pull this way a little bit. So I think that something needs done with this. If you look at that, I think the caliper probably needs replaced. I'm going to replace this one probably, and probably the other one on the front as well. And I may do the back as well. I didn't really want to do all of them. See, this side, the brake doesn't look as bad. There's not as much dust on the wheel. So definitely going to change probably the caliper on the other side, maybe this side, just so I got new calipers front and on both sides. But beyond that, I mean, that's regular maintenance stuff. Not a big deal. It would have needed done anyways. The front end had a little bit of a shake to it. When I rotated tires, I noticed that the lower control arms bushings are a little rough, so that might be something that needs to get done as well. So overall, this was a really good experience. I enjoyed the trip. I'm the trip planner, and I plan for a lot of days of riding, and I'm going to change that. It was just a lot of days where we're just riding. We needed to explore more. We needed to do that kind of stuff more. So first time out, not bad. Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, South Dakota area in general. We're going to go back at some point and spend some time out there and explore a little bit more than what we saw this time. And that is our goal for that. As far as camping, this thing works pretty well. Did it work? Is it the best for what we did? I'm going to say no. I think this particular camper setup would be better for like wilderness camping, where you're going out and staying a week in one spot and doing whatever you do out in the woods. Or maybe if you're doing that stealth camping thing, it would probably work pretty good for that. So not a terrible setup for what we did. Definitely beats the tent, but I think it could be improved upon, and there are better ways to go, obviously. But I don't want to buy an RV. I don't want an RV. I've never wanted an RV, just not my style. So the setup works, the car works. I'm going to do some tweaking to make it a little bit better. We had a great time. It was a good experience. So thanks for sticking with me this far. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to have a motorcycle adventure, and I will bring you along on that. It's not, I'm going to say right now, it's not terribly exciting, but it is interesting, and it is motorcycles, so it can't be all bad at that point. So at this point, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say thanks for watching and sticking with it this far, and I'll get some more motorcycle content in there, so don't give up on that. There's going to be some more of this at some point, so come back for that. And if you're out riding, ride safe.